right, so today we are looking at page 13, day 6, writing and graphing linear equations and inequalities. Basically, today is kind of like a wrap-up of all the days before this. Basically, what this unit is mainly about is graphing linear inequalities, writing linear inequalities, as well as graphing inequalities and writing inequalities. So today is pretty much a practice day where you're going to be doing both. Mainly writing inequalities on this page, and then when you look at page number 14, the number 7 and 8, one of them is writing an equation, graphing an equation. The other one is graphing an inequality. And number 9, they are asking you to be able to write the appropriate either equation or inequality. So you have to know whether or not the graph that you're looking at is an inequality or a equation. All right, so today our practice is going to be numbers 3 and 4, which is on page 13. All right, so we're going to look at numbers 3 and 4. Okay, let me get rid of that line. Okay, so let's start with number 3. So I'm looking at this line, and how can I tell whether or not this is an inequality or equation? Well, there's one distinct difference, is that when you're graphing an inequality, they have shaded areas, because that is where the solution set lives. Where an equation, it's just what's on that line. So if I notice here, number 3, I don't see a shaded area, so I know that I am working with an equation. So I want to identify that first. Definitely working with an equation. All right, and we know that when you're going to start graphing, we have to start with the y-intercept. So here the y-intercept is right here, and that is -5. So b is equal to -5. And then I'm going to look at my slope. How did it move to the right? So here it looks like it went down 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Okay, so my slope would just be 3. -3 because it went down, excuse me. So then my equation would be y is equal to -3 x minus 5. Okay, there's my equation. Now let's look at number 4. So here, how do I know whether or not this is an equation or inequality? Well, it has a shaded area, so I know I'm working with an inequality. So here I'm going to again identify the b, the y-intercept, where the graph is crossing the y-axis. And here that is -4. Okay, and how did it move to the right? Let's see, how did it go to the next point? 1, 2, 3, and over 1. So again, down 3, so it's -3 over 1. So my slope again is -3. Remember, I'm not including the over 1 because that's a whole number. Remember, any whole number always is over 1. Okay, so now I know my inequality is going to start with y. I don't know what the inequality is, so I'm going to make a space. -3x minus 4. I just have to figure out now what would this inequality be right here. So for me to figure this out, I'm going to use my test point, which is always 0, 0. So I'm going to use that point, 0, 0, to test it out. Now, I notice that 0, 0 is a part of the solution set. So at the end, I want to make sure that my statement is true. All right, now let's go back. So it's going to have to be, if I'm replacing y with 0, it would be 0 is something. I don't know what that something is yet. Let me keep my colors in line. Hold on. Okay. Don't know what that something is, but it would be -3 times 0 minus 4. So I would have 0. I don't know what that inequality is something -4. Well, I see that it's a solid line, so it has to be equal to it. So I know that my inequality is going to have a line underneath. But I want the statement to be true. So to make the statement true, it would have to be greater than, because 0 is greater than -4. So here my inequality back into my equation would be greater than or equal to. And there's my whole answer right here. Okay, and if you want, you could then get rid of this part right here and rewrite it nice and neat. All right, so that's what you're going to be doing all in this lesson, like I explained when we first began. Okay, thank you.